Welcome, CSP, back to our Taste of Limmud. And today we have our special guest, Nechama Goldman Barash from Jerusalem, a fellow Israeli. And really, I think this speaks to the breadth of all the different speakers that are here from Limmud from all around the world. And I went to her session on Jewish sexual ethics, which I found to be quite groundbreaking, considering the topic. She addressed all different aspects of Jewish sexual ethics that are coming up in the classroom today. And so I wanted to bring her in to give us a bit of a taste of what she's been doing in Israel and to explain to us a little bit more about what she's teaching. So, Nechama.
Okay, happy to be here. I teach at a place called Pardes, and I'm representing them at this conference. And I spoke about the need to create a Jewish sexual ethic because largely in religion, and Judaism is no exception, the only legitimate outlet for sexuality is in this very binary heterosexual marriage space. And even within marriage, we know that couples have complexity in navigating a safe, consensual, respectful space. So first of all, just even bringing the idea of ethical practice within the sanctioned heterosexual marital space. But in addition, I teach a lot of students who are not married or not heterosexual, who are looking for guidance from the richness of our Jewish sources to help direct them as they think about intentionality, about consensuality, about respectful behavior, because a sexual relationship by its nature involves more than one person. And I may have needs and wants and desires, but I don't always or often or have permission to think about the person opposite me because I get so consumed by my own needs, desires, and expectations. And I have multiple conversations with students, and particularly students who have remained single for many years, who talk about the complexity of, what's expected of them or what they can expect of others. And there's a bit of a free fall. Like if we're not doing what's expected of us halachically or within the sanctioned space, then maybe we don't have to think about it at all. Maybe nothing guides us. And I think that is absolutely terrible. I think Judaism says a lot about the values of chesed, of compassion, and of awareness of the dignity of the other human being. And we must educate that, regardless of where the people in our communities are taking it.
So I have a question because it sounds, and to me that's fascinating, that even though the topic is ethic sexuality in Judaism, it has a crossover with a far wider or broader conversation that isn't maybe relevant only around that topic. So can you say a few words about how you see or what crossovers you see between this topic and broader issues? Because you already mentioned a few, like chesed and seeing the other.
Yeah, I think when we think about Jewish ethics, right, the idea that we can apply values of, particularly I like to talk about kvod habriot or human dignity, the idea that every person is created in the image of God, regardless of whether they're from within our community or outside our community, is not reinforced enough as a way that we can interact with people outside of our community and people with disabilities, people of different color within our communities, right? There's a lot of, subcurrents of antipathy towards other that I think if we really deeply engaged in Jewish ideas of compassion, of respect, and of dignity would allow us to open up and not be afraid, not be threatened, and not be put off by those who look or talk or believe other than we do. So both within sexuality and of course spilling over to all relationships, bringing in some of the deepest core of what it means to be Jewish from within our scriptures, from within our texts into how we engage with anyone we encounter.
Beautiful. And I just yes. Your main kind of source of reference is Talmudic, right?
Yes,
that's where you come from, kind of. So is there a favorite Talmudic kind of source you go to, or the one that you'd say, if I had to take one Talmudic sentence with me, which would it be?
There are so many, and I've decided to go light because so much of what I just talked about was a little heavy. There's a great three-word statement in Masechet Megillah, Rav Sadliv Sumei Shchiach. There's always room for dessert. And I think we can really take that with us as someone who has a sweet tooth and as someone who maybe, again, there's always room for a little bit more. And we can take that wherever we want, but eat dessert. It does make us happy.
Well, thank you so much for being willing to take on the hard topics and the topics that people might not necessarily know how to navigate, and make them accessible to us in a way that we can walk away and be happy that we've eaten a little bit of dessert.
Yes, shout out for desserts. This is very CSP of you. I'm very happy with this Talmudic quote. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you again tomorrow, and have a wonderful day, morning, night, wherever you are.
Bye.